Hi guys, it's Alston. In this mini course, we are going to learn how to be safe when purchasing lifetime deals. And also I will be sharing all the tips and factors you need to be aware when especially buying lifetime deal. This course is going to be one of the most important, especially if you are new to the lifetime deals industry, or just you are just finding it about now, or you are already purchasing lifetime deal software for your personal use or for your company, or to offer it as to your service to your clients. This video course is going to be really important. So I advise you to take at least one free time when you manage and watch it fully, because one of these factors might can save you time, resources, or even reduce unnecessary risks and headaches in the future. So this is going to be really important, because it's not just my personal opinion. I asked this exact question with my community members, and I gathered all their experience, their feedback, opinion, and everything. I compiled and made sure that it is in depth and create a video for it. So I really hope this is very useful for you. And also, this video is not just going to be specific about one particular product, one particular deal network, or one particular type. I have made sure that it applies for any lifetime deal product. Can be a SaaS solution, can be a software solution, can be a WordPress solution, hosting solution, any type of lifetime deal. All these factors will be really useful for you to know about it. And also, I have made sure to include jump points. I would recommend you at least watch it one time really fully, but if you want to only focus and jump through the points, you can use the jump points. Or if you like to read about it, I have written a full in-depth article which is almost like 4,000 words, everything in detail, so you can read about it, whichever is easier for you. So without further ado, if you already know lifetime deal and why it happens, you can probably skip to the next step. But this slide is mostly for the beginners who are really new to this market and they want to get the initial idea. So first, what is lifetime deal and why they offer? This is really important to understand, because most of the time when you hear that lifetime deals where you can get SaaS software or any services or plugins just for one small one time price, you get the access for that particular SaaS or solution for the lifelong of that product. It might sound too good to be true, but there is a reason for it. The reason the SaaS founders are willing to give such a great deal on their product, where you are paying only a small amount of money one time and you're getting access lifelong, is because there is a win-win situation for both buyers and also for the SaaS founders or the company which is offering the lifetime deal. Let me explain in brief. From the buyer's point of view, you're obviously getting a great deal on the software. Usually it is around 90 to 95 percentage discount, or sometimes more than that, and you are getting a steal price. Like, for example, if the competitors are charging around 50 to $100 or 40 to $100 a month or something like that, you might get lifetime deal just one time payment between something between 100 to 200, 50 to 100, depending on the use cases, depending on the industry software. So there is a reason you are getting this great value. At the same time, founders are getting value because usually the lifetime deals which is offered on the market are not from fully matured or not really big companies. Most of the lifetime deals which come to the market are from startup companies, where they are trying to find their initial set of customers. That is where the lifetime deal most of the time comes into play, where they are willing to give this great deal for just one time price for the users to get their initial set of customers and users for their product, who will actively help them to grow, and they will give feedback, test the product, keep on growing with the product as long as they become a matured product, where now they can go out and sell monthly plans, annual subscription, or whatever their pricing model. So the initial set of customers are known as early adopters. So this is the main reason the lifetime deals are really popular, because it provides the win-win situation for both founders and as well as for the buyers. So I hope now you are clear on what is lifetime deal and why they offer and why it makes sense. And also a little tip that not only the startups offer lifetime deals, sometimes just to attract or sometimes to get more customers base into the market, sometimes even matured companies do a lifetime deal network deal offer. So just need to make sure that also. Now let's take a look into the tips, factors, all the things you need to be aware of it. The first one is research about company and the founder. This is one of the most important one, because you are when you're purchasing a lifetime deal, it's not just based on the software you are getting, because most of the time the software is on an early stage or growing stage. So you need to be making any choice or investment primarily based on the functionalities and also the history or how the founders are interacting with the buyers. So make sure to look into the history of the founders, bio pages if you have available to them. Look into their past project if it's a recurring developer. See how their other projects are performing, how their customers are treated, what is the state currently it is in now. Is it really popular solution? It is working as it should be, or even looking at the funding ideas. Do they have the plan to grow? Or what is the vision is like? How they are planning to move forward to the next stage? Just try to do a bit of research on these ideas, because if you're just directly going into buying the product without looking into all these things, then it does not make sense. You need to be having some sort of trust, even though the information will be limited most of the time, because these are startups. In this case, try to reach out to them, try to learn anywhere you possible, try to get at least some background information before making any decision. The second point is that you don't need every single good deal. This is one of the most important, and it might sound silly, but just trust me, it becomes an addiction once you find out lifetime deals market. And I can speak from experience, I have over 200 plus lifetime deals, so you can just imagine the crazy. And some guys I know from community, they have more than 500 and everything. So it just becomes an addiction. And just remember it that most of us gone through it, and there are so many ways to describe it. For example, thousands of softwares, SaaS solution softwares products are available in the market, and SaaS and software industry is very volatile, where hundreds more new SaaS and solutions are entering to the market every month. So one product might look good, but another product might look good the next week. So what you need to focus is that focus only the right solution which you can use, and don't go out and buy everything. And also we have several terms to explain these also. First, something called FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out. If you find a lifetime deal, even though you not sure whether you really need it or not, but just for the fear of missing that particular deal, you might go out and buy. So that is what we describe by FOMO. There is something called hype. Hype is something like over promotional or over exciting promotion for any deals. So usually when the deals get launched, there will be energy around it, where everyone will start talking about it. You will see that deals appearing all the places, where even though you might not be immediately attracted to that deal, but as soon as you see all these interactions happening around it, you will try to make a purchase for it. And also there is something called shelfware. Shelfware is a concept where we used to talk about it. When you purchase a product thinking it is really good, I'm going to use that product, but you never end up using that product. It's ideally means that it's going to just sit on a shelf where you're not going to touch on it, you're not going to use it. So it becomes unusable, unneeded resources, and it happens most of the time. And especially this will happen if you keep on buying same sort of or same type of or same SaaS application or software application with overlapping features, it can happen. As I mentioned, one software might look golden to you now, another software might get launched like another 1 week, 1 month, or even tomorrow, and that might look even better than this. So make sure that this don't happen, and you only pick the right tools for you, not all the good deals. So make sure that, and make sure that you do not get over addicted into purchasing all the softwares, which generally will become shelfware if you are not planning or if you are actively using it. This is another important point I always make sure to say it, that get ROE as fast as possible. ROE means that return on investment. What that means is whatever the money you are paying for that lifetime deal, make sure to get break even the cost, or try to get the return on investment. Whatever the money you purchase, put into as an investment, get it as fast as possible. This is really important because anything can happen and we can't really predict the future. And I mentioned that SaaS industry is really volatile. We can't even predict. There are so many stuffs happening around the world. You might find a better SaaS, you might find the SaaS has become a shelfware where it's unusable. You might see that SaaS companies are closing down, acquisitions are happening, and lot more things can happen anytime. So it's just crazy out there. So try to make your cost which you invested as fast as possible. Calculate how long will it take, or how many, after how many projects, or after how many clients will I able to recover that cost. So make sure to have a plan for that and try to get the return as soon as possible. This way, even though let's say for example in a future point that SaaS, as something happened to the SaaS, it's closing down, acquisition, or it's becoming unusable, you would have gotten your return on investment if you have been actively using the product. So don't just wait around. If you purchase the product, make sure that it is a product which you are planning to use immediately or less than 3 months, or otherwise you just don't buy, or instead wait for the next product or when you actually need it. In that case, you can actually subscribe to a monthly services and wait for a good product which you can immediately put into a use with the lifetime deal product. So get the return on investment as fast as possible. Risk of SaaS being independent on third-party source. This is another really important, where if you are purchasing a product where it handles most of its function on its own, can be functionality, can be data, if it's able to do everything is on its own, or it has multiple sources for the data point, then the risk is reduced. But let's say for example you purchase a SaaS or software application where it is fully dependent on one particular third party source, can be for any sort of reason, can be for functionalities, can be for as a data source, any reason. In that case, the risk is really high, because if they lose access to that particular third party source, that product will become unusable unless they find an alternative solution, a data source or a source application for that. So just make sure that if it's a SaaS or solution based off a third party, fully dependent on the third party, the risks are really high. How well SaaS website is built. This is one of the indicator which I personally look, and it's not a direct indicator, but it has worked for me in the past really well. What I really think of a website for a SaaS product as simply a sales office for any product. For example, if you're just walking into a car dealership, if it looks really weird, there is no activity, it's looking unpolished, there is no attraction or anything like that, most tend to leave that store, because we get attracted to sales office because that it's what sells the product to us, what makes the product valuable to us. That's why branding is really important. That's how I look at the SaaS websites which they are offering. I see whether it has all the required pages, it has all the required information, it has all the required legal information, whether they are showing all the use cases, tutorial, documentation, knowledge base on how to use the product, what are the features available for it. Just make sure that you get a really professional idea on what they are doing it, and also look for whether website is broken, is there any dummy content, compare it with competitors. Just it does not provide you a direct say or opinion on whether the SaaS is good, whether risk is reduced, but it will serve as a really good indicator, because we can see the commitment or the level of effort they are putting in the website. So it will also work as a really indicator to reduce risk and to be safe when purchasing lifetime deals. The next factor is that price manipulation and understanding of it. This is one of the important one where this does not happen most of the time, but you need to be aware of it there, since in some cases it do happen. Usually, to make a lifetime deal offer really appealing to the users, they might make their monthly or yearly prices really high, so you will see this offer as much more sensible. So you need to make sure to get the right prices in order to do that. There are a couple of ways you can try to figure out the right price in case if the SaaS or founders change the price recently before coming to a lifetime deal. You can use web archive or any cached pages to see the old data. If you don't have access to those kind of data, then I would suggest you to look at the competitors price. If any of their competitors did a lifetime deal, then it's great, because they are almost in same industry, so you can get an idea based on that. Or even if they are not doing any lifetime deal, just look at their monthly price, the competitors monthly price. What are the features that they have, what makes that product and this product different, and what is the reason for the price difference. These will help you to make a much more informed decision when you are purchasing the deal for yourself. And also make sure, this is another important point, don't buy any lifetime deal. What I mean by that, check their monthly or yearly or any other deals they have. Even sometimes there can be special discounts during special time of the year, like Black Friday, Halloween, all this stuff, year-end sale. All these sales will happen. So just don't go out and directly buy lifetime deal just because it is a one-time price. Try to see whether that which is much more sensible option, or which is more sensible for you based on your financial situation, or based on your financial what is makes sense for you. For example, if there's a lifetime deal price and you are only be able to recover that cost compared with monthly after 2 years, think whether do you want to go for the lifetime deal or you want to stick with the monthly or yearly option. So just make sure to do a full comparison on the price before making any choices on purchasing lifetime deal. Risk of LTD mapped to the custom plan. This is something which most of us have burned in the past year. This is not just my personal opinion. This is one of the most important factor which most community members also share. What is a custom plan and what I'm referring about it? Usually when a lifetime deal appears, instead of mapping the LTD customers or early adapters into one of the existing plans which is appearing in the website, they will try, sometimes they will try, not everyone, they will try to map into a custom plan. They might call it as a specialized plan, custom plan, lifetime deal plan, special LTD plan, any sort of name, but usually we are assigned to a different plan or different pricing structure. Why this can be bad? It might not be bad all the time, but what makes this increases the risk is that simply because we are on a lifetime separate plan, which is different to existing plans which is appearing for their normal regular customer. In case if they want to decide to limit features or limit updates, new functionalities or new additionality, they can do, because they can make it only available to those particular existing plan, and they can restrict the custom plan or the specialized plan. So we will have a usable product, but we might not be able to access all the features functionality. This is also purely dependent on each product, each founders, on how they want to treat their early adopters. But just from our past experience, having map to lifetime deal custom plans or anything like that has caused most of the time to get us restricted in some new features functionalities which is going to be going for existing normal clients. Now there is one more thing you could look out for, is that try to find any lifetime deals by stacking or improving to get on higher based plans, not just starter plan. This is something different, where your lifetime deal is automatically mapped to one of the existing plans within particular product. But if your lifetime deal is mapped to, let's say for example, lower plans or starter plans instead of higher or business or professional big plans, what happens is any features which is going to be added on pro or business or higher plans, that feature set will not be available for the starter plan users. So you just need to make sure it, if all the features which is already available within the starter plan is more than enough for you, then there is no need to worry about it. But let's say for example you are looking for more in-depth or advanced features, just in that case make sure to clarify with the founders or team whether that will be available for the starter team plans, or you would have need to upgrade it. So make sure to understand the plans. The ideally what you need to see in a good lifetime deal offers that you are mapped to existing plan, at the same time by stacking or just from one code itself you are mapped to one of the professional or bigger higher plans within that existing plan setup. Understanding the refund policy, this is another important one. Basically you will know what I mean by refund policy. This is where you actually, if you don't like the SaaS or the product you have purchased, you can return and get your money back. Most of the time most product lifetime deal offers will have a refund policy, but it can differ in nature, where one can be regular, where you submit a refund, they might ask the reason for the refund, you provide a valid reason, then they will give you a refund option. Or they will give you a refund option in credits, where you won't get your money back, but you will get a refund in credits, where you can use that credit to buy any other products from a particular website or from a network. Third one is no questions asked. This is the most popular refund policy which you probably will see on most products, where there will be no questions asked. As soon as you submit a refund request, they will immediately give you the refund you requested without any other questions, or they might ask feedback, but it's optional. If you want to submit, you can submit, or you can leave it as it. And the fourth one is the final, where there is no refund policy. This does happen. For example, for digital downloadable product, usually there will not be any refund policy, because as soon as you download it, there is no way to them to collect it back from you, so there will not be refund policy. Sometimes some products, even deal networks, will have tighter refund policy where they will not allow you to refund. So make sure whenever you are purchasing something, you look into the deal terms to see whether what kind of refund policy they do have it. And also refund period, the time duration will also differ based on for each product or from each network. Usually the time span is like it is somewhere around 60 days or 30 days, 14 days, or just any random based on their preference. But the common one is 60 days. So make sure to see these data, all these things before you purchase it, and make sure to utilize the refund period. As soon as you purchase this, mark down 1 day or 2 day before the final refund date in your calendar, make it auto notification or anything like that, and make sure to use the product and see whether that this product really helps you, or whether this product actually solves your problem, or see whether another alternative is appearing before the refund date. So only if you are happy and you are happy with your investment and you're already using the product, then stay with that. If not, before the refund date, make sure to refund your product. So this is really important. And also another good tip is that use a payment processor with a good customer protection. You will already be purchasing a lot of things online. You know which is the best payment processing network or payment processor for you. So when you're purchasing, use these credit card, use these PayPal or any payment sources, whatever is most trustable and which as a great customer protection program as an additional measure of security for you guys. The next one, this is another personal favorite of mine and others also. Basically, a trial is always better than refund. This is really important. If you find a product you want to immediately try it, don't just go out and buy it, test it, and you might, in the back of the mind, you will think that there is a refund policy. So even though if I don't like it, I just can simply refund it. It is true, but a better approach is most of the SaaS which comes into the market, they will give you a free trial option where sometimes they won't even ask any credit card details or payment details. It just matter of creating an email and verifying account. You will be given with the test limits like 7 days or test credits to fully test the product. So when you get a chance between trial and refund, just go with trial and try it out that product personally. You can even use, when you're creating the product, a secondary or backup email or even something like burner or temporary email to create this account and test out the product. So this will help you to avoid unnecessary refund processes, unnecessary need of using your main email addresses which might get end up in their newsletters or follow-up emails or anything like that. And it can even help you to reduce unnecessary charges. For example, some payment processing systems, even though the founders will give you a full refund, due to the reason that the refund process, sending money, all this happening through the payment process, there might be some charges extra for you which you might have to incur. So just based on this, when you have a trial option, just try it out that before purchasing it directly. The next factor is examine TOS, terms of service and deal terms really carefully. This is really important. For example, this is especially important if you are going to making a big purchase on that lifetime deal, or you're going to do a big stack on that lifetime deal, meaning that you are going to purchase multiple codes or bigger plan or something like that you are going to do. Always try to go the extra mile, especially if this is going to be something really important SaaS lifetime deal, or it's going to be replacing some critical part of your business, or it's going to be handling data which is critical to you. Make sure to go through their TOS. First, check whether they have a TOS, and if they do, go through it really carefully, all the details on how they are handling the data, what is the risks involved. Make sure to have all the legal, all the information for you. This will help you to really understand this product and see whether this is something for you or not. And also deal terms. Usually deal terms will be given on the deal page itself or just before the checkout process. Make sure to you and understand everything really good. Only when you are fully confident, go ahead with purchase. If you have any doubt, you can ask friend, you can ask independent community on what are the issues. They will help you out also. This is the another good factor which you need to be making a use of it, like making it like a second insight to do it automatically, where try to take screenshot or archive the URL of the deal page. This will really become really helpful, because it is really good to have a backup of the original deal page or and see the original deal terms. Let's say for example, in a future time they change some feature set, they are limiting some features, or they are not giving out whatever the stuff promised in the deal page. Sometimes what happens is that deal page might not even exist, or they could have changed the details on it. Any number of things could have happened. But when you take a screenshot, but I do not recommend screenshot, instead you can use a free service called Web Archive, where you just give the deal URL into them, paste it, and make sure to click on archive it. What it does, it creates a untamperable, which means no one can edit that, and it creates a copy on their cloud on that specific date on all the contents which is available on that particular page. So in a later date, if you want to find the original deal terms, original deal details, even that original page is not available in public, you can go into Web Archive and found it, and you can use this as proof, because everyone knows that Web Archive is really a trusted source for web page storage, archiving it on that particular days. So take a screenshot or archive the URL of the deal. The next factor, it's also a silly factor, but it is true, where make sure to redeem your purchased code. This has happened to us a lot of time. For me, I think it's around 2 times, so think, but it has happened to the community members, and when we are talking with friends, they also mention it has happened. The reason for it, you might buy some deal at last moment, or you might get busy after you buying the deal, where you actually forgot to redeem the deal. Yeah, usually these deals will have a final date for you to redeem by this deal. In case if you miss, then it's up to the SaaS founder whether they want to honor the code, or sometimes they might not honor the code if you didn't redeem the code before the final date. So make sure as soon as you purchase it, look into you. I won't say that you look into the final redeem date. Try to create the account right and there. In case if you are not able to make sure to create a notification alert or anything, so you can create that account before the final redeem date. Then it's up to the founder whether they want to honor it or not. Next factor is also is don't fully trust on-site testimonials. This is not true for everyone, because testimonials reviews which is available on-site is really good, because only the people who have purchased the products can leave their review. So we are getting direct experience, direct feedback from the people who have bought this particular deal, and they are sharing their review. So it is really good. But there are some times where one particular product or one particular deal network might not be fully transparent. What I mean by that is that sometimes reviews can be moderated. What I mean by that is they might allow only the positive reviews. They might block or pause the negative reviews. There is no way we can know whether this is happening or not unless the person who's actually trying to post the reviews is not able to post the reviews. But just keep in the mind, this tend to happen from time to time, sometimes, not every time, but it tend to happen. So make sure that it could be moderated, or reviews could be monetized, incentivized. What I mean by that is that they will give you some bonuses to get a review. So most of the time their users will submit their reviews to get bonuses for their purchase. This is not a bad practice where this have been happening for years, and most users will leave their honest experience. Even such founders will ask their honest experience to give the review, get them to submit the review, and in return you are providing something for them. But there are some cases where they might even ask specifically for higher rating, or customer might be compelled to give higher rating. These things can happen from time to time, so usually this can be incentivized also. Or sometimes reviews can be submitted from fake accounts. This is also really hard to find out. There are metrics we can use, see how many deals they have bought, what is their registered date and these things, but we can never really be sure on whether that is a fake account or real user who is the fan of this product just signed up and bought this deal. So it's really hard to do, but just keep in back of your mind that it could be a reason as well. So what are the reliable sources? These are my personal opinion. Go with independent community. For example, there are many communities in Facebook, Discord, Telegram, or whatever your favorite social media or community channels. There will be a lifetime deal group like us where we don't restrict any censorship or any restriction. We don't put any. Members are happy to share and encouraged to share their honest experiences. So you go with online independent community to ask this, or ask opinions from other people you look up to in the digital industry, or from the fellow person in the lifetime deal industry. Can be your friends, ask your co-workers, professional connection, even influencer who you trust. So you ask from their opinion. And also, if possible, and you already know someone who is already using that product and is close to you, or you know of him, then that is the most accurate info you will get, because that person is trustable to you and is actually using the product. So try to get his opinion, try to get their experiences, and it will really helpful for you. The next factor is that never buy LTD based solely on roadmap. This might be a new factor, especially for the newcomers on the lifetime deal industry. But for people who have been burned a lot in lifetime deals and been buying lifetime deal for a long time, we already have experienced this. What happens is, most of the product which come to the lifetime deal market is not on its final stage. It is a growing product where the initial features will be limited, and as the product grows they will keep on adding new features to the product to compete with the market leaders, or specifically make this product unique. So whatever the features which are not available right now, they will be placed into something called roadmap, where these are the planned features or functionality which we will be focusing on as we grow. So that is the basic idea behind it. But the problem is, you can easily put 100 different features and functionalities in the roadmap, and you can say these are planned. So if you are just going to be purchasing that product, just looking at that roadmap and thinking, okay, the product as of now it's not usable for me, I don't want to use it because I can't use it. After only the features which are in the roadmap is developed, I will be able to use it. Then there are some cases where the features or the functionalities in the roadmap can be getting delayed, or you might find another alternative, can be abandoning, can be focusing on other features, functionality. All this can happen. So make sure, as my final tip, uh, as of right now the product is setting, see whether those features set are enough for you, or at least to get you by until you get the advanced features. So then you make a purchase decision, or you can even wait for the next best product. As I told you that it's a volatile industry, you get so many deals into the market. But don't buy a product if it's currently unusable, and only after all the features on the roadmap is developed you will be fully use it. That is a disaster waiting to be. From my personal experience, it's going to be a shelfware product where you might even not go back to start using that product. The next factor is commitment, support, listening to user. This is one of the important factor where when we purchasing this lifetime deal, there is one part it's for features, functionality, all this stuff. There's another part where we are purchasing this based on the founders or the company. We place some sort of trust on them, so these both need to be positively growing in order to get a great amazing product for you. If you get a really great product but the founder team is really not likable or is not delivering on the promises he made, then it's not a great combination. You might still have the usable product, but it's not an ideal connection. Same thing if you not end up with a bad unusable product, but the founder team is really great, still it's not a good combination. Ideally you want to find something really good year and year in order to make sure that you have a great product. That's why you can test the product features by directly testing out the trial, reading the reviews, looking into walkthrough videos, but just try to get the sense of how the founders or the team members interact with customers, how they handle support, how they are handling feedback, how they are answering question, especially how they are reacting or responding to the negative reviews submitted by them. These will help you to make an opinion from you. It's not going to be same opinion from everyone because each of us are different, but from these information you see, you can make an informed decision. And also try to look for how fast they are developing, how fast they are fixing the bugs you discovered. All these minor data, minor factor, minor information decision can help you to make an informed decision on purchasing. And even after purchasing you can use these factors to decide whether you are going to keep the deal or not before the refund period. So this is really important. The next factor is that try to keep a track of the LTDs, the lifetime deals. This is also might sound stupid, and it will be true if you are just holding like 5 to 10 different lifetime deals and everything. But once you get into that and once you start buying it, sometimes it might go out of control, where you try to keep a organized database. Like for example, I have over 200 plus lifetime deals. I can't even say all of them right now as recording this video. So ideally, to find and use the products, I need to keep a database. It might sound weird, but try to keep everything organized in database sheets. Give the description, how much you purchase, what is the refund time, what is the feature URL, so you can easily access that in case you need something. You might forget. Even for example, if you are buying something from Deal Network or something like that, you can have access to the history of everything you purchase within from that particular dashboard when you purchase any products from that particular Deal Network. But if you are purchasing a product exclusive deal, where it is not a lifetime deal network, instead it is a separate product which is offering lifetime deal for a particular time period. In that case, what happens is it is more easy to lose track of those kind of deals. So make sure to keep a track and organize all your LTDs in one central place, and try to take a backup as well. And also you can these are our favorite based on our community feedback and also my personal, but you can use any solution which is comfortable for you. But these are we recommend like Airtable, a database kind of platform, Track My Subs, Raindrop, Google Sheet, Microsoft Spreadsheet, anything you would love to get the information as fast as possible and keep it in an organized way. You do that to track all your lifetime deals. uh, this is another important factor you need to look out. See whether the SaaS which they are selling or the product which they are selling, are they using it personally? This is really important. For example, if they are selling a chat software or website builder, WordPress plugin, any sort of themes or anything like that, see whether they are using their own product or are they using a competitor product. This is really important because ideally I would love to see they using their own product, which shows the trust they have on their product. For example, if a product is selling a e-commerce payment solution, see whether they are using their own solution to sell that product. Because if not, there are three reasons. One, the product is not complete or missing key features, or they are not fully trust their own product. This is true that, for example, sometimes the product can be in an earlier stage where it might be missing the features and everything, but when you see they using their own product, it gives you some more confidence that as a positive indicator, rather than when you see a chat software module they are promoting this as the best chatting software, chat widget, you can do all sort of these things, and you go there and you see a competitor product as the chat product, then it loses the confidence from the buyer's perspective that they are not using the product for themselves. So making whenever make it makes sense. For example, any software cannot be used on the website or directly. For example, if it's a SEO software for looking for backlinks, all these things, we can't see whether they are using the product or not. So whenever it makes sense, see whether they are using their own products for their personal uses. The next factor is it a white label or a Code Canyon based script or any other script solution? This factor will be new for brand new users who are just entering to the market, but the users who are been in the LTD industry for more than 1 year, you will already know about this. So I'll explain you first what is white label. White label is where they are using another product but with their own branding like colors, domain URL, branding, any branding to use that product and market it with this branding to appear it as a custom solution for the customer. So all the functionality features are everything is coming from an alternative source, but they are using the white label featuring to make that product into themselves like a custom solution, and they are offering that to the customer. This is good, but there is a lot of risk. For example, you might get a great pricing from than the directly going with that source product, since they can offer different license prices and everything. But remember, the risk is really high, where if something happens to the middleman where they decided not to renew their subscription, not to renew their labeling license or anything like that, you will lose access to that software. And it's also easy, and also it's really, you will try get limited support. For example, unless there is some custom coding, custom development going on the middleman, any support or feature request or anything you ask, it's not will be done from the middleman. Instead, it will need to be done from the source SaaS application or anything like that. So the risk is really, really high when you are going with white label products. Code Canyon. This is like a technical term within the lifetime deal. As soon as someone mentioned that is a Code Canyon deal, the pro lifetime deal guys will understand what we mean by that. But what it means is that Code Canyon is one of the biggest marketplace for custom SaaS which you can self-host plugins, custom codes, where any developer can develop a plugin or service and they can come there and sell licenses for their product. It can be a personal license where we purchase the license and directly use it for our need by hosting on our servers and everything. But they do also have a commercial license, which means it's like a business license where you purchase the commercial license and host that product in your server, and you can run your own business. You can start offering to all different features, functionality based on that product. It is also good, for example, if you just buy the Code Canyon product directly, then you need to figure out all the hosting, server handling, all this stuff on your own. If you are a non-techie, then this might feel difficult. So you might get good prices from this middleman who's using the Code Canyon script to offer the service. But remember, the risk is also high, and the cons which I just mentioned for the white label applies for the Code Canyon script also, because there is no custom development unless they specifically designed anything custom. If it just mirroring anything which is coming from the source, there is no custom. If there is a problem, if they don't want to continue, they can do that, and you will stop getting access to all these things, and they might put limits and everything. And if you know how to host the product, or just use, if you have some technical knowledge, you can directly buy and get full unlimited or without any limits directly for yourself. So that is why the reason we usually tend to avoid white label, Code Canyon, or any other SaaS developed based on another SaaS open source or any paid solutions or anything like that directly. If they do any custom or they offer more features, they add another layer of functionalities and everything, then makes this approach unique. They are not just directly selling it, but just make sure to do all the in-depth informed research on this aspect also whenever you're purchasing these things. So not everything is bad, but make sure to understand the risk when you are going with white label or Code Canyon plugins. Risks associated with resale market. This is another important one. Personally, I don't have that much experience in this. But just to give you an idea, what is resale market means is that sometimes you might miss a great lifetime deal when it was selling during that period. As I mentioned, this lifetime deal period will be usually for a limited time, like within 1 month they might expire the deal, within 2 weeks they might expire the deal. So anyone who's coming and looking to purchase this lifetime deal after that particular time period, they won't be able to purchase it. In that case, what they can do is, there is a subculture within the lifetime deal in community where there is resellers who will look to resell their products. They buy the products in purpose of reselling, or the deals are purchased by really normal person who was trying to use the product, but they found that product is not compatible, not suitable. They might found an alternative. In that case, they are looking to get rid of this product. They might go for reselling that product. But there are some risks associated with that also. First, make sure you are handling with any trustable person, any friend you recommended by someone you personally trust, because there are a lot of times scam might happen when you're handling payments directly. You can go for help with SaaS or deal networks or anything like that, since most of the time deal networks, SaaS founders do not allow reselling. It will be mentioned on their terms or deal services. So if they found that you are reselling, purchasing codes or selling the code, it depends on each person. So not for everyone this applies. Some SaaS founders, some deal networks allow reselling. So it just based on them. You look for it and understand this. But in case they find out that this is a resale or this is a purchase of resale, they can block access to your account. So just remember that. And also, as a preventive measure, this is the reason why most lifetime deals do not allow you to change email addresses, to prevent any reselling also. So just make sure to learn more about reselling. I personally don't have that much experience in this because I have never resold or bought something from the second hand market. I usually buy it directly. If there is no solution, I will wait because it's really volatile industry. Deals are coming out really fast, so I will wait and I directly buy the product. uh, Never fully trust comparisons you see on SaaS deal site or anything which is directly selling the product. Uh, this is not true most of the time. Most of the time, to maintain the authenticity, trust, reputation, they will give you a fair comparison. But do remember, sometimes the goal for showing all this comparison and everything is to make a sale. So sometimes they might manipulate these comparisons to make to show their product like a better product compared to alternatives. So this can happen. So just don't go blindly and trust any comparison you directly see. Try to look into, for example, try to see what are the top products they are mentioning and learn whether that is actually the true leaders in that industry. Try to look for that. What are the features they are comparing, and see whether, check whether that is actually all the features or are they missing out any crucial features. So my advice for you in this case is that look for third party comparison, but remember, most of the third party comparisons will be created by affiliates like me. I'm going to talk about that in the next point, but it will be created by me. So knowingly or unknowingly, it can be biased. So never trust one single comparison. Go and look out all the various different comparison created by affiliates, founders, SaaS networks, any influencers, or even any lifetime deal buyers, purchases, and get all these data and you make your final decision. You compare it on your own. You get data from all these different sources and you figure out, okay, this is good, this is bad. So make yourself as the final judge and just take our opinion and make your final decision. This will make you to make an informed decision. This is the factor which I mentioned. Learn from other reviews and opinions, but there's a big but. For example, you can learn about that lifetime deal or product from blog post, video reviews, talks, webinars, any sort of resources. But do remember, it is created by affiliates or people who are biased on one particular service, or people who are unknowingly even opinionated on particular services. So whatever this created, we can be biased knowingly or without knowingly. We try work hard to maintain the reputation, trust, or anything like that, because as the moment you lose that, then it does not matter. But we can't concretely say that that principle will be applied with everyone in the digital industry space, because each person is different. That's why I told you, knowingly or unknowingly, that sometimes we might really love one product, even if they are not an affiliate, just a user, they really love one particular product. So as soon as they see an alternative, just because they are loving that product really well, They might say, without even trying it out or without using it for full potential, they might say that product is bad, it's not good, or something like that. So make sure to use these products or use these all the resources as an indicator point. Don't take it as the final advice or final recommendation. Just use them as indicators and get as much as resources, watch as much as videos you can, ask as many communities as you can, ask as many friends as you can, ask anything you ask from anyone, and collect all data, and you make the final decision based on the data and personally trying out the product, because that is the good fit. Because psychologically you will know what is good for you. I do not know what is good for you. You will when you make a decision, you are the person you trust most. So get all these indicator and you make the final decision for you. And also it is true, some deals which we think it's good for us, it might be not good for you. At the same time, it can be vice versa also. So one such solution which might be bad for one particular user, it not necessarily need to be bad for another person, because it might really fit his use case. So make sure to gather all the data, but you be the judge of it and make the final decision. The next factor is understand the risks of lifetime deal in general. This is really important. What I mean by that is that we already know that lifetime deals are not on their matured or fully developed stage. Instead, they are in their growing or startup stage. So there will be features missing, there can be bugs, there can be problems, just any sort of things can be there. So make sure that you understand the risks of it. For example, make sure that you have a backup plan, backup SaaS solution, backup service solution. In case if this fails, what I will do, how will I recover the data, how will I recover this process, how will I get back as fast as possible. You might think it won't happen, but remember, this can happen anytime without giving you any notice. So make sure you prepare contingency, backup plans, everything, in order to make sure that you know what you should do in case of failure. So this is really important. And sometimes ask your question. For example, is it worth the risk? This I specifically ask for myself. For example, in my business, let's say for example, I have some critical component, and my critical component is need to be working perfectly. There should not be any interruptions and everything. In that case, ask yourself, from the growth, from the all the data you see, whether you can fully trust one particular product, or you will be happy to pay a monthly subscription and get the best services from them, or any sort of thing. For example, I personally don't like to use lifetime deal hosting because the risk is too much greater for me. But some people will understand the risk and still will be willing to go with lifetime deal. So this will differ for each user or each person. So based on that, any lifetime deal which you are planning to use it for one of your critical component, see whether that is worth the risk. This will really help you a lot. And do remember that lifetime deals will always be a gamble. This is really important, because even that SaaS performing really well right now, that does not give you any sort of securities or promises that it will continue to be top at whatever it's performing. It can go down, there can be competitors, there can be any industry problems, there can be any founder problems, anything can happen. So it's going to be always the gamble. That's why I mentioned that try to get return on investment as fast as possible. Try to buy only the deals which you actually need and will be start using it immediately. The next factor is probably, I think, the last, where understand the risks in the SaaS industry. This is also a really important one, but we generally tend to avoid this because this is not one of the primary factors. Because let's say for example, when you are purchasing a SaaS on a particular niche or type, you also need to be aware of whatever the things happening on that particular SaaS industry, the niche industry. For example, if you are purchasing some sort of social media automation tool, make sure to you follow what is the industry changes, what are the new techs, what are the rules, what are the advancements coming on social media as of that restriction, anything like that. Make sure you keep a track of all that. For example, if something happens which is really considerable or significant, then there is a possibility it can affect your SaaS products also. One example, let's say for example, if once social media decided to stop their API, give out data to external, and if your product is specifically built on using from whatever the data it gathers from that API, even though there is no problems, no issues with the founder or the product, just because some really big change is happening in the industry, it can affect your product as well. So make sure to that SaaS tools and SaaS industry, the niche is always will be interconnected. And I think those are the main factors you need to be aware of it. So I have explained most of it. In conclusion, the not I have not shared all the factors. This is really important. I have shared the important ones you need to know, and all the things which I personally experienced throughout my lifetime deal years, and also from the community members or everyone. Based on that, you might think all these are is it worth it, but try to make this like a second thought to yourself. As soon as you look into any deals, any software, any offers, you automatically try to develop a mindset where you keep all these factors either in a checklist or just back of your mind, and make sure you check out all these things. It might look like a too much hassle work for you, but remember, this might really help you in the long run to avoid unnecessary risk, to manage your risks properly. All this will really help you. For me, I make money for any sales which is made through referral links. So ideally, I want you guys to keep on buying more, but it's not ethical. We need to stop and educate the visitors, the community members, especially new people who are coming to lifetime deal market. That is the sole reason which I created for it. As much as I am an affiliate, I'm also a customer. I buy lifetime deals for my agency. I buy lifetime deals for my personal use. So whatever the things I felt through, I made sure to share this. This is really important educational wise. So you will stop and think and make sensible informed decision when it comes to lifetime deals. This will be really helpful, and all the points from this are made from my personal opinion. So if you don't agree with this, I will understand, but these are just personal opinions. And also from other community members, I really want to thank all of them, because they are the ones who provided the information from their perspective also, so I can prepare this guide. I really hope this guide has helped you. And if you find someone also experiencing or new to the market and they are looking for a good guide, please do share with them if you think this is helped you personally. And once again, thank you so much if you watched this all this long, and take care and happy LTD hunting. And if you have any doubt, questions or anything, join our community or ask me directly, and I will be happy to help you as much as possible. Thank you so much and have a great day. Cheers.